Honorable members, in the third session, the House faced a number of challenges, including that almost brought our work as legislators to a standstill. For example, the issue of public participation was a major basis of litigation. Article 10(2)(a) and Article 1181(b) and Article 196(1)(b) of the Constitution guarantees the right to public participation and directs the national and the county legislatures to respectively facilitate public participation in their work. In the third session, we witnessed filing of a raft of cases, including Supreme Court petitions number E031, E32, E33 of 2024 relating to the legislative process leading to enactment of the Finance Bill 2023 into the Finance Act 2024 and petition E52 of 2024 regarding Gachagua by the Speaker of the National Assembly. Both cases faulted the credibility of and the manner in which the National Assembly conducted public participation. We should also ensure the measures we put in place for considering the views received during public participation exercises are reasonable and that they do not invite unnecessary litigation. Going forward, the National Assembly should consider establishing a dedicated oversight committee focused on continuous monitoring of compliance. A compliance committee in line with the constitutionally set timelines. Such a committee shall be responsible for regularly reviewing progress and proactively addressing delays as and when they arise.
I'd like to express my gratitude to the committees for their dedication in fulfilling their oversight responsibilities. We greatly appreciate the immense effort members invest in conducting business within our respective committees where we sit in. However, I would like to challenge the departmental committees to promptly identify and address topical issues to ensure they are not taken up and dominated by the Senate. Honorable Speaker, is important because we have seen in the last 2 years many of our departmental committees issues that are topical in the country, issues that concern the people we represent, being taken up by the other house. And Honorable Speaker, if you read the Constitution clearly, it is the National Assembly that represents the people. The Senate represents the counties. And therefore, topical issues on issues that touch on our constituents and on Kenyans, the first point of call should be the National Assembly. And this is only a task that those of us who sit in departmental committees, our chairs and our vice chairs can take up, so that we are not seen like the National Assembly is now being overshadowed by the Senate. Members, again, as the Honorable Junet mentioned, on communication, I want to agree with the leader of minority, Honorable Speaker, that at times it is very fashionable and politically expedient to speak out in the media, in funerals, in weddings, in rallies, on issues that are before the House. And it's important to remind honorable members that our own standing orders, because we must be a house of rules and procedures, and we pride ourselves that we are an institution of rules and procedures, and our own standing orders stop us from preempting debates on matters that are before the House. But in the last 2 years, we have seen members being tempted to often speak in other fora other than in the House on even legislative proposals that are before the House. And many of the members at Honorable Speaker, you see, speaking on issues that are before the House. When debate is ongoing, be it during second reading or in committee of the whole House, you will hardly ever find those members in the House. And I want to plead with all of us, let us be united in how we communicate on matters before the House and in our committees. It's therefore important to note that arising from your commitment in the House, honorable members, both in House business and in your committee work, we achieved significant milestones, including deliberating on and passing critical bills. Notably, at the tail end of the session, as I noted, we enacted key tax laws such as the Tax Procedures Amendment Bill of 2024, the Business Amendment Laws of 2024 that are now Acts of Parliament, and the Tax Amendment Bill of 2024 that is now the Tax Laws Act of 2024.
Members, equally important is the reconstitution of committees. Order Wanjala, reconstitution of committees. 2 weeks ago, I saw in the papers that there is panic as Speaker Weta reconstitutes committees. I want to make it very clear. The Speaker does not constitute any committees. The Speaker has no role in the constitution of committees. It is entirely the duty of the majority and minority leadership, and to hereby direct the majority leader and the minority leader to move in earnest and reconstitute the 18 committees whose life has come to an end with the last session, so that by the time we reopen on 11th, you now get ready to bring the process to House business so that we can process and have new leadership or continued leadership in the committees, taking into account, as you say, performance, regular attendance of committee meetings, and the industry to which you put in those attendances. So you are so directed, majority and minority leaders, and by the time we resume, your work should be done. Of various committees, you know, none of you can be denied a membership of at least 1 or 2 committees. The work is going to be done by your leadership. Please don't visit the Speaker and ask him to put you in a committee because he has no such capacity. To your expectations. Honorable members, one ensuring legal issue that we must address in this retreat is the issue regarding the National Government Constituencies Development Fund, NGCDF. You will recall that last year, the High Court declared NGCDF Act unconstitutional and held that the fund and all its projects and programs shall cease to operate next year. This matter has certainly far-reaching implications for service delivery to our people. Honorable members, as you are aware, the NGCDF has been instrumental in funding projects that improve education, infrastructure, and community development. As the matter unfolds in the Court of Appeal, we must prepare to engage constructively and explore alternative solutions to ensure that the development at the constituency levels do not stall. This morning, the team has been before the Court of Appeal and have made some positive developments in the matter. As we made much in the last session as a House, we also grappled with the issue of fake news, which often threaten to misinform the public on various issues touching on our mandate. And speakers before me have touched on this. I'm glad to note that as a House, we ensure that the public was appraised regularly through various fora, including online platforms on our workings as the National Assembly. This has fostered transparency and accountability and boosted public confidence in the work of the House. Despite this, however, the issue of fake news remains a challenge, and moving forward, the House must move towards leveraging on technology to keep the public well informed accurately and correctly. Suffice to say, my heart sank recently, in fact last week, to see even our own members fall into the trap of circulating fake news without verifying the information. You saw last week, there was a lot of fake news circulating online, some from our own members relating to the health of one of our colleagues, and it was quite unfortunate. I want to assure you that the Honorable Malulu Njendi is in hospital and he is recovering steadily. But we also have the issue of IEBC, the reconstitution of IEBC. We have lost a lot of time. because of being embroiled in court. We do not know whether there will be possibility in delimiting boundaries. You know very well that the 290 constituencies are embedded in the Constitution, so no new additional constituencies can be created. The only constituency that may be created is if, due to demographic profiles, IEBC may create new constituencies by hiving off from one to another to create constituencies. But they will not create any additional numbers. So if they get time and do that, it's you as members of parliament to assist them. As members, we also have the issue of IEBC, the reconstitution of IEBC. We have lost a lot of time because of being embroiled in court. We do not know whether there will be possibility in delimiting boundaries. You know very well that the 290 constituencies are embedded in the Constitution, so no new additional constituencies can be created. The only constituency that may be created is if, due to demographic profiles, IEBC may create new constituencies by hiving off from one to another to create constituencies. But they will not create any additional numbers. So if they get time and do that, it's you as members of parliament to assist them. As you are aware, the president gazetted the selection panel. They were sworn in yesterday. As PSC, we are going to provide them with the secretarial services, and we want them to get on to work urgently so that we get IEBC in place.
Honorable Speaker, may I highlight on part of the successes and challenges of the last session? Speaker, about 149 bills were introduced, out of which 17 were assented to, and 19 were Senate bills which were processed. However, the Senate has asked us to also take time to prioritize Senate bills also, because we have not been doing so. Honorable Speaker, a number of bills were under mediation as the House went on recess, which are 7 of them. One which relates to the financing of county governments, Honorable Speaker, and we'll be seeking your guidance on the fate of that process now that days have since expired. Honorable Speaker, the House considered 161 motions. 38 are still pending, were still pending by the end of the last session. 85 persons were approved for appointment to various state and public offices. 312 statements were processed and requests were made on statements on the floor of the House, together with consideration and adoption of 54 reports of committees of the House, Honorable Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, these are simply statistics. I mean, what is important is the quality of legislation, quality of policies that are passed by the House, Honorable Speaker.